good folks from ALLPOWERS have sent me the R1500 portable power station. They've also sent along portable, folding 400-watt solar panels that accompany this machine. Do they work well together? And how suitable are they for Jeep camping? Well, in this episode, we're going to check it out, so stick around. Welcome to Cheaper Jeeper TV. I'm Dino, your host. Glad to see you here. In this episode, I'm going to have a look at this portable power station sent to me by ALLPOWERS, the R1500. They've also sent the portable folding solar panels, 400-watt solar panels. And what we're going to do in this episode is have a look at the attributes of this power station and the 400-watt solar panels to see how suitable they are for Jeep camping. First thing, we should discuss, why do people want to have a portable power station and solar panels when they go camping in their Jeeps? Well, a lot of people want to recharge their phones because that's how they record their adventures on their phones. Also, what's very popular among Jeep campers is the use of 12-volt refrigerators. In addition to 12-volt refrigerators, people use USB fans to help with ventilation, some lights, and what I'm seeing now, and I've been thinking about lately because we've been going camping and it's getting cold, and I'm a little bit concerned with cooking with the propane stove because as those tanks get cold, the pressure of the gas reduces and it makes it a little more difficult to cook. A lot of people are using induction stove tops, and in those scenarios, you definitely require a portable power station. So let's have a look at what are the attributes of this battery and the 400-watt solar panels, and then we're going to see how they work in my Jeep, and then maybe you can determine if they're going to be suitable for you. And if they are, you can check out the links in the description section because I'll have links and discount codes for both. Well, for starters, we have two USB-A ports at 18 watts each and two USB-C ports at 100 watts each. Then we have these AC outlet ports at 15 amps each, and there's 4 of them in total with these rubber covers, and they could power items up to 1800 watts. And then you can see here the 12-volt cigarette lighter port at 10 amps. The display when in use shows the percent of the battery that's topped up, what amount of wattage is going in and out, and how much time is left on the battery. A nice surprise is that the top of the battery has not one but 2 wireless phone chargers. Spinning the battery to one side, you depress the bottom of that little door and it opens up to reveal the AC charging plug, the circuit breaker, and the XT60 12-volt or solar charging plug. And interestingly, for a battery of this class, to have 2 ports on the other side that serve as expansion ports for extra batteries should your needs change. While I'm at it, let's talk about the main attribute. Given that this is Cheaper Jeeper TV, what does this baby cost? They are on sale at the moment of the release on this video, and a discount code will help you save more, and it's listed right now for sale on the ALLPOWERS website for $499 US. Now this is the R1500. It has a battery capacity of 1,152 watt hours. Now you've seen me use my 500 watt hour battery in my other videos. Now when I'm camping in my Jeep, like for a weekend, I can get through a weekend powering my fridge, the USB fans, charging up my phones, just with the 500 watt hour battery. So that means with a battery like this, not only can I power my fridge, charge up my phone, my USB fans, I have juice left over in this battery for some other things like that induction stovetop that I've been considering. And you might have other things that you need power for. With a battery of this capacity for a weekend, it would be no problem. But what about if you have a trip planned where you're going to be out for longer? For example, the Cape Breton trip that I did, we were out there for a couple weeks. When we went just this summer up to the Soo, we were out for over a week on Crown land, and even a battery of this capacity would have run out of juice, and that's where a solar panel would come in handy, and we'll talk about that shortly. Also, the inverter on this battery is an 1800 watt inverter, which means it's got a lot of power, and it can power some pretty heavy duty devices. devices. For example, if you were to run a coffee maker, this battery could do something like that when you're off camping in your Jeep. And it is a pure sine wave inverter, so it's safe for charging electronics and those sorts of devices. Now, there is a feature to this battery called UPS. You won't likely be using it when you're camping, but if you're home from camping and you still want to utilize this battery, the UPS feature stands for uninterruptible power supply. So this could be plugged into the wall, and then a device like, say, your computer, aquarium, your CPAP machine, some device that you do not want to stop working once the power to the house goes out, like your beer fridge, that could be plugged into the inverter of this battery. And if the power to the house were to go down, the battery will continue to run the device that's plugged into it because of the UPS feature. So that's a convenient feature of this battery as well. Now, this battery is a lithium phosphate battery, which means it's safe and it can run for 3,500 cycles of going down to 0 and charging back up to 100 before it deteriorates to a capacity of only 80%. And that'll take, if you were to do that every day, about 10 years. And that doesn't mean the battery's done in 10 years. It just means that instead of being able to charge up to 100%, you'll only be able to get about 80% out of it. So that's a pretty long lifespan for a battery. This battery comes with a warranty of 5 years, which is really good to have that kind of support, because that's a long time to have a warranty on a battery. Another feature, as I showed earlier when I showed the expansion ports, is you can expand this battery. Not that you would want to, but if you decided you still want more capacity, this battery allows you that flexibility, because you could get the B1000, or up to 3 of them as a matter of fact, and daisy chain them into this one. Now that gives you added flexibility if you find your needs change, like you get a bigger fridge, or you use the induction stovetop and some other appliances when you're camping and you wanted to have all that juice. Another interesting thing about this battery is it comes with an app. Now, in the app, you can control a lot of things, and one of the things I want to point out to you is that in the app, you can control, for example, the speed at which you recharge this battery, because you can recharge the battery at a slower speed or a faster speed, and the faster that you charge up the battery, the harder it is on the battery. So if you need to, you can charge it up quickly, but if you don't need to, you could charge it slowly. And as you can see up here on the screen, there's even this mode. I believe it's mute mode. It allows you to charge it at a rate of 400 watts, which means that the internal fan won't turn on. And maybe that's suitable if you were charging it at night and you didn't want the fan to turn on because you were sleeping or something like that. And you could charge up the battery in 4 different manners. One way is with the charge cable plugged into your house plug, and then you can charge up the battery that way. Another way is with your DC charger here, or into your cigarette port of your car, and then plug this into the battery. And there are some other methods where you could charge from the car, which would be quicker than this method. And it's called charging from the alternator, and that could be a future video. And you could charge from the solar panel. And then the fourth way is where you could charge from the solar panel and at the same time charge with your AC cord. And that could get you fast charging of up to 1,500 watts if you were wishing to do that. Now, when we're out camping and using a battery like this, we're going to need a solar panel so we could put juice into it. And you can buy a 100 watt solar panel and put in 100 watts or thereabouts at a time, or get a 200 watt solar panel. But ALLPOWERS sent me a 400 watt solar panel that's foldable and portable. Well, it's 40 pounds, so that seems a little hefty, and the dimensions are quite significant. And we camp out of our Jeeps. So how workable is that going to be? Is the cost-benefit analysis going to be appealing enough to use a solar panel like that? Because you do want to get as much solar energy from the panel as possible, and there's always going to be factors that impact the efficiency of the panel. The time of the day, the position of the sun, the amount of clouds in the sky, and even where you're located on the earth, because if you're closer to the poles, there's more atmosphere for the angle of the sun to travel, and a lot of the energy gets used up in the atmosphere. So it's important to have a good solar panel, and it's important to be able to pull as much energy from the panel into the battery as possible. So I'm curious about these solar panels because there's a lot of times when I'm out there that it's a little dicey. You don't always have the best weather, so you want your solar panels to do the best job possible. So is a 400-watt solar panel practical for the potential power it can provide? Well, let's see. Okay, so here's the battery and the somewhat portable solar panel. Now, it's bigger than a 100-watt solar panel, but is it going to be worth it for the amount of performance you get from a 400-watt solar panel? Well, let me just put this battery down, and we'll have a look at how it fits in the Jeep shortly. Let's first try to set this up, and this will be the first time for me. So here's how the legs are deployed, so that's nice. Just hooks onto that Velcro. Okay. So there's these clips here that we release. And I just open the first panel's kickstand and set it down, and then just flip it open. And you just basically do one panel at a time. And I can't believe how much solar panel I have here. What looked like a suitcase now is this very long solar panel, but that's 400 watts of solar panel. And while I talk about this, I'll have the price up on the screen so you can see the value for money you get to have 400 watts worth of solar panel. And now the next thing I have to do is get the power cable plugged into the battery so we could look at how much power we're going to be pulling in from the panels into the battery. So essentially from the back of the panel you have these connectors. I believe they're called MC4 connectors, and then they just plug into the XT60, and this is the one that gets plugged into the battery pack. And so now I am recording using my iPhone the amount of power that's coming into the battery pack right now. And this is like unbelievable wattage input. And we're in Canada right now, so it's not like the height of the summer. The sun's not at its highest point in the sky. It's a little bit lower on the horizon, so you lose a little bit of efficiency. But these panels are performing amazing. Will you look at that? So far, the highest number I've seen is 395 watts of input from these 400 watt panels. Now, contrast that to my 500 watt hour battery, which at maximum would be 75 watts of input. That's the most that battery can handle. Where this battery, as you've seen with these panels today, I've been pulling in up to 395 watts of input. Unbelievable. I am super stoked about this. What this means is I could be using this battery, and when it's time to recharge the battery, I can do so very efficiently with these solar panels. Like, that is a lot of power to be putting into this battery just from solar panels myself. I'm just showing you here how I did get over 400 watts of power. I just was watching it. It just keeps improving. So 406 is the most, nope, 407 watts from a 400 watt panel in Canada in October. Well, so far I'm pretty impressed with the performance of this battery and solar panel combination. I really like that it's simple because all the panels are together, just one piece. I could just unflip it and it stays nicely in position here. There's these little tabs on the top corners here and at the bottom. I could pin this and tie it down so that the wind doesn't take it away. I could even possibly hang it on the side of the Jeep in scenarios where I need to do that. And it's very convenient, just that it's all held together. It's not like 4 different 100-watt panels. But there is the storing this in the Jeep question. How am I going to store this in the Jeep? How cumbersome will that be? Well, let's play a little game. I'm going to go and put this in the Jeep and see if you can find it. Well, I'll demonstrate putting it away. The cables very easily just slide into this back little pouch. And now I'm just gonna fold it up. So far it's folding up back together very easily. Wow, that went together really easily. All the legs just fell right in place on their Velcro straps. Okay, now I'm gonna go put this in the Jeep and then you come and find it. Okay, I put it in the Jeep. Let's go and see where I've managed to fit that monstrosity of a solar panel. Is it really gonna be that convenient? Let's have a look. Okay, here we are looking in the back of the Jeep. Now I know you're familiar with the platform, but for the viewers who are not familiar with the DIY shelf I made, there's a video I made on how to do a DIY shelf there. But as I look under here, I've got my fly fishing stuff here and some other things over here. So I don't have the solar panel underneath the platform here. It's probably in the ceiling up here. No, I've been able to shove the 2 100-watt panels up into the ceiling, but I don't have the 400-watt panel shoved up there. Here's the sleeping platform. It's not on top of it. Oh, there's my Jackery 100-watt panels that I have stuffed up there, so my 400-watt panel's not there. I suppose I could try fitting it up there, but that 400-watt panel is a little heavy. Maybe I don't want to try to lift it up there. Wait a minute. Here we are. Right down there. It fits nicely underneath the sleeping platform. You know what? It's not too bad. It's very easy to slide it under the platform. So if you've got a platform with space under it, possibly you could fit it there as well. But there is one more place. Let me show you. I just wanted to show you another place that I thought might be a convenient place for people to put a panel of this size in their Jeep. So as we come into the back of the Jeep, you can see between the roll bar and the side window on the driver's side, the panel just fits into that space nicely. And when we come outside, there's a little bit of the panel that sticks out there, but if you don't have a passenger that you're worrying about, or if they don't mind that that's just in the way a little bit, that's another option for you. So that's what it looks like in this other location between the roll bar and the driver's side back window of the roof. And it's not bad. So if you didn't have space beneath the platform, you have that space over there. Otherwise, depending on your own rig, you'd have to find room for that. So that's the solar panel, but what about this battery? Now, again, it depends on your situation. I've had large batteries sitting in the cargo area, in the footwell, behind the seats. Sometimes I've taken out the back seat, so there's all that space in that area. Or if you have a commercially bought, or in my case, a DIY rear platform, you could situate it up there. So you can see there how I have the battery on my DIY shelf. Some people have commercial units, or if you wanted to make your own shelf like mine, you could look for the video link in the description section and you could mount your battery up there. But overall, in my scenario, having a battery with that kind of power is very convenient. I'd make space for it. So in my estimation, for the amount of money that this battery and this solar panel costs, it's not a bad value. Now I have, and as you should, I've gone and looked at other people's reviews just to get everybody's input, and there's a lot of features to this battery that makes it a good value proposition, and the performance of the solar panel is amazing. In terms of overall quality and longevity of the products, I haven't tested it long enough to be able to say, but I'm looking forward to using this in subsequent videos. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and the alert bell so you come back and see how these units are performing over time. But I have to tell you, I'm really impressed with the attributes of this battery and that solar panel.